You might find it surprising that not everybody celebrates Bonfire Night, but I don't know why you would. It is, after all, distinctly a British thing. Why would anyone else in the world celebrate a failed coup on the King of England 400-odd years ago? It's a strange thing to celebrate a failed coup. I wonder if years from now the Americans will dress up like this guy and celebrate January 6th. But one thing the Americans don't do is celebrate Bonfire Night. Not many places in the world outside the UK do. Unlike most of the world, and most of Canada for that matter, in Newfoundland we've always celebrated Bonfire Night. Newfoundland was England's first claim in North America, so there are still deep, long-lasting ties with this country. I spent most of my life in Canada, and not just anywhere in Canada. I grew up in Newfoundland. It's Canada's most easterly province. It's actually the most easterly part of North America. It's the bit closest to here. You just turn left at Greenland, which is how the Vikings found it 1,000 years ago today. Well, maybe not today, but it could have been today. If you follow science and history news, you'll know it's been known for some time that the Vikings set up station in L'Anse Meadows, Newfoundland, long before Columbus supposedly discovered America. Recent findings have narrowed it down to a specific year, and that year was 1,000 years ago exactly, in the year 1021. Scientists used an atmospheric radiocarbon signal produced by a dated solar storm as a reference. This enabled them to pinpoint the exact felling year of a tree that was used in the Viking settlement to the year 1021. We all have an insulated view of the world. When asked what the second city was in the UK, the people of Birmingham said, Birmingham. The people of Manchester said, London. We're all the stars of our own movie. When we first moved here, I was listening to BBC Manchester one day, and I heard Phil Trow say, "Fill your boots." Wait, what? That's one of our sayings. As a matter of fact, I would have thought it a definitive Newfoundland statement. Now, it's unlikely that Manchester got it from Newfoundland, but likewise, I think it's unlikely that Newfoundland got it from Manchester. I think there must be a common ancestor somewhere. So why do we celebrate Bonfire Night? Well, normally I'd start telling you about Guy Fawkes and gunpowder plots and treason. Nowadays, most people will ask, when's Bonfire Night? They don't even remember the rhyme, remember the 5th of November. All that stuff happened back when Christ was a boy. And that's probably a good analogy, because nowadays Christmas is more about a time of peace and goodwill than the birth of a child in some far-off place and time. The origins haven't been completely forgotten, but it's not what it's about for most people. Do you think the guys that have been setting off fireworks for the last week have been celebrating the failed attempt to get a Protestant king off the throne back in 1605? But we did and do celebrate Bonfire Night in Newfoundland. We'd spend weeks gathering up wood and old tires, but I don't recommend that one nowadays. It was a competition amongst us kids to see who could build the biggest bonfire, and we weren't above nicking off of other people's piles either. We knew nothing about Guy Fawkes or the origins of it all. It was just another reason to get together and have some good fun. And on the subject of fireworks, we don't and never did have them on Bonfire Night. Something like this was our fireworks. It's called a blasty bough, and we made sure we had lots of them. When you cut the boughs off a fir tree, they turn this rusty red color, and when you throw them on the fire, they make this fantastic crackling sound, and they send sparks high up in the sky. Bonfire Night has always been my favorite, and I've gained a new appreciation for it since I moved here. It's unfortunate that once again the large gatherings at bonfires have been cancelled. Of all the celebrations we have in this country, Bonfire Night is the most British celebration that there is. If you asked an American with the slightest knowledge of Bonfire Night what it was all about, they'd probably describe it as the British 4th of July. Probably because you set off all those fireworks like the Americans do. And in a way they'd be right. But it's not about the birth of a nation. It's about being a nation. It's the celebration that defines this nation. It's not when we show the world who we are, It's when we say to ourselves, this is us. We gather around the fire like our ancestors did and talk about the hunt. Or what a meanie Mr. Right is in sixth form. Because it doesn't really matter why we get together. It's important that we do get together. It's yours. You own this one. This is your 4th of July. It's your Canada Day. So if you don't celebrate Bonfire Night, it's time to start. I'm ready. How about you?